the phases of the menstrual cycle. Now, you already know, let us suppose that the menstrual cycle, it is of 28 days, okay, on an average. Let us suppose that it is of 28 days, right? So this is the 28th day. We have the 14th day, that is the day of ovulation and fertilization, and we have the first day in which the main hormone, it is initiating, it is the FSH, and the main hormone in the first 14 days, it is the estrogen, right? It is the estrogen. So remember, the first phase, from first day to 14th day, this is called as the follicular phase. This is called as the follicular phase of the menstrual cycle. It is also called as the proliferative phase of the menstrual cycle. Why? Because the follicle, it is growing in size, right? You already know. Let us suppose this is the primary oocyte, and this primary oocyte, it is surrounded by these follicular cells. So remember, this is the primordial follicle. Again, I am not drawing because I have drawn a lot number of times. So this primordial follicle, it is basically growing in size, right? The follicle, it is growing. So it is growing in size. So that's why it is called as the follicular phase or proliferative phase, right? Growing follicle, right? And this follicles will release a hormone that is called as the estrogen, right? You already know this. These are the granulosa cells. Granulosa cells, or also called as the follicular cells, and these follicular cells will release hormone, right? That is estrogen, and it will act on the uterine endometrium, and it will proliferate it. It will proliferate it, right? Now, so this is called as the follicular phase or the proliferative phase of the menstrual cycle. Now, from 14th day to 28th day, this phase, it is called as the luteal phase, right? This is called as the luteal phase, right? This is called as the luteal phase, and it is also called as the secretory phase of the menstrual cycle. It is also called as the secretory phase of the menstrual cycle. And over here, the main hormone, it is the progesterone. The main hormone, it is the progesterone. You already know we have the primary oocyte, which is covered by the granulosa cell, that is the follicular cells. So now the primary oocyte will be converted to secondary oocyte on 14th day. So you already know, on 14th day what will happen? Ovulation will take place. Okay, ovulation occurs, and ovulation simply means primary oocyte will change into secondary oocyte, and these follicular cells will change into corpus luteum. It will change into corpus luteum, right? Now, the corpus luteum will grow, right? The corpus luteum, now let us suppose this is the corpus luteum which I am showing right now over here. Now this corpus luteum will grow in size, right? On day 22, it is having the maximum size and maximum activity, right? Day 22, it is having the maximum size and the maximum activity. So yes, the corpus luteum, it is releasing one hormone that is called as the progesterone. So yes, it will support the uterine endometrium, right? It will support uterine endometrium. यूट्राइन मेट्रियम को ग्रो करवाने का काम किसका है? ईस्ट्रोजन का. यूट्राइन एंडोमेट्रियम को सपोर्ट देने का काम किसका है? दैट इज द प्रोजेस्टेरॉन. इट विल सपोर्ट द यूट्राइन endometrium, right? It will support the uterine endometrium, and that is actually the secretory action. That's why it is also called as the secretory phase, right? It is the secretory action, right? So yes, under the influence of the LH, under the influence of LH, this corpus luteum will grow, right? And when the level of LH decreases, now when level of LH decreases, what will happen? The corpus luteum will start degenerating. The corpus luteum will start degenerating, right? Now, you already know that the luteal phase, very, very important, the luteal phase, it is always fixed to 14 days. It is always fixed to 14 days, right? It is always fixed to 14 days. Now, if I ask you a simple question that, okay, let us just try to answer these questions now. Now, the ovulation will always take place it will always take place 14 days prior to the next menstrual cycle. 14 days prior to the next menstrual cycle. Right? So, day of ovulation, I can simply say the day of ovulation or day of fertilization will be length of cycle minus 14. Length of cycle minus 14. For example, if a female has a 30 days cycle, then ovulation will take place on, that is 30 minus 14, that is day 16 will be the day when the ovulation is taking place, because the 14 days are fixed. Last से 14 days fixed होता है, ठीक है? So initial के days vary कर सकते हैं, but the last 14 days are always fixed. Okay, so yes, along with that, also remember the pain which is at the time of ovulation. Pain at the time of ovulation, pain at the time of ovulation. Remember, it is also called as the mid-cycle abdominal pain. Mid-cycle abdominal pain, and this is called as the Mittel-Schmerz syndrome, right? It's called as the Mittel-Schmerz syndrome. Now remember that the menstrual blood, it is the arterial blood, right? It is the arterial blood, uterine artery, it is like carrying the blood. So remember, the endometrium, it is the superficial layer of the endometrium which is shed. It is the superficial layer of the endometrium which is shed during menstruation. Okay, and the deep layer, okay, the deep layer, it is the zona basalis, which is responsible for regeneration of entire endometrium in the next cycle. Okay, अगली cycle में पूरा का पूरा endometrium regenerate करने का काम किसका है? Zona basalis, that is the deep layer of the endometrium. So it is responsible for regeneration of entire endometrium in the next cycle, right? Now, menstruation happens due to, now if the question is simply asked, menstruation it happens due to sudden decrease in the progesterone, right? It happens due to sudden decrease in the progesterone, right? It happens due to sudden decrease in the progesterone. देखो प्रोजेस्टेरॉन एंडोमेट्रियम को प्रोलिफरेट करने का काम ईस्ट्रोजन का था, बट सपोर्ट करने का काम उसको उस लेवल पर इट इज द प्रोजेस्टेरॉन. अगर सपोर्ट हट गया, सो ऑब्वियसली इफ द प्रोजेस्टेरॉन लेवल इज डिक्रीज्ड, then the support to the endometrium is lost, and again it will lead to menstruation. Now, what if there is sudden decrease in the progesterone level? There will be release of, okay, there will be release of metalloproteinase enzyme. Metalloproteinase enzyme, and this will lead to ischemic necrosis of endometrium. Ischemic necrosis of endometrium. Apart from that, the sudden decrease in the progesterone will also lead to vasoconstriction, right? The prostaglandin factor 2 alpha will be released. Okay, it will be released. It will increase the myometrial contraction. Myometrial contraction. So there will be pain during menstruation. There will be pain during menstruation, and it is something which is referred as dysmenorrhea. It is referred as dysmenorrhea. Pain during menstruation, it is called as dysmenorrhea, right? Now again, if we take the endometrial biopsy, you already know we have 28 days of cycle, right? The first day, 28th day, and the 14th day of the cycle. Now, in the first 14 days, which hormone is the main hormone? That is the estrogen. In the later 14 days, which hormone is the main hormone? That is the progesterone. You already know this, right? Now, if we take the endometrial biopsy, अगर एंडोमेट्रियम की बायोप्सी लें, ठीक है, एंडोमेट्रियम का टिश्यू देखने की कोशिश करें, so what we will get? Endometrial biopsy in first half of cycle. In the first half of cycle, what you will get? Yes, you will get tubular glands. These are short, straight tubular glands you will get. If you want, I'll just draw for you. Yes, we have short, straight tubular glands. Short, straight tubular glands, right? On the 14th day, right? On the 14th day, you will have, like on the 14th day, yes, what you will get? Now, in the endometrial biopsy, what you will get? That these glands, right? Yeah, these glands are basically having vacuoles, right? There are subnuclear vacuoles which will develop, right? So let me just draw for you. Yes, for example, this is the gland, and what you will get over here, these are the subnuclear vacuoles which you will get over here. Yes, these are like this. So yes, at the sides, at the ends, you will get these vacuoles. So yes, now this is the columnar epithelium cells. This is the columnar epithelial cells with subnuclear vacuoles, right? So it is the first evidence, okay, it is the first evidence of ovulation, or I can say the first sign of ovulation in endometrial biopsy. अगर मुझे endometrial biopsy से पता करना है कि ovulation हुआ है या नहीं, so presence of subnuclear vacuoles in the columnar epithelium cells, it is like the first evidence or sign of ovulation in the endometrial biopsy. In the endometrial biopsy. Now coming on to the last 14 days, the luteal phase which is fixed. The luteal phase which is fixed, you already know, we will over here the main hormone, it is the progesterone, and the cell. In the last 14 days, right, in the last 14 days, what you will get? Yes, you will have highly coiled glands will be there, right? There will be highly coiled glands. Okay, and these highly coiled glands will have they will have corkscrew appearance, right? These are, remember, these are filled with secretions, right? These are filled with secretions. So these are secretions, and remember, these are highly coiled glands. Highly coiled glands, they will give corkscrew appearance. Corkscrew appearance, right? And yes, corkscrew appearance of glands, this is also called as the sawtooth appearance, right? It is also called as the sawtooth appearance of glands. Right? So that is something you have to remember about the endometrial biopsy in the different phases of the menstrual cycle. Now, coming on to the characteristics of the menstrual cycle. Coming on to the characteristics of menstrual cycle. Now, you already know the normal length of the cycle. Okay, if we just consider the normal length, of the menstrual cycle, it is around 25 to 38 days, right? It is around 25 to 38 days, okay? Like it's study based only, right? Or it can be around 21 to 35 days, which is population based. Okay, there can be variation plus minus. Okay, now average length, if we talk about the average length, of the cycle, it is around it is around 28 days, the average length. Okay, now this average length, it is only seen in about 15% of the females, right? Now the next that you have to remember, the number of days, of bleeding, it is around 2 to 7 days, right? Average days, it is like, if we talk about the average days of bleeding, it should be like 4 to 6 days. Now, the normal blood loss, it is around 5 to 80 ml, right? It is around 5 to 80 ml, okay? And if we talk about the average blood loss, it is about 30 ml, okay? It is about 30 ml, right? Now, if it is not given in options, you can go for 35 ml, and if 35 ml it is not given an option, then the 50 ml will be the answer, right? Now, any deviation from above, remember, any deviation from above, it is called as atypical uterine bleeding. Atypical uterine bleeding. Now, here comes when we will discuss the disorders, okay, associated with menstrual cycle, or yes,